Boom shakalaka. We are up. We've actually been live, but now we're recording. And it is 9:04, so I'm late. I'm not really mad about that, though. How are we doing today? Go ahead and introduce yourselves. First, alphabetically. Yeah, introduce yourselves alphabetically.
All right. What's up, everyone? My name's Asvix. I'm a regular here at the Trash Talk Temple, known member of Team Brain Dead Bunga, and we're just having fun, being just having fun beating each other's ass in Mortal Kombat 11.
It's the one and only Toad Savage, another participant in Team Brain Dead Bunga, joining the podcast today.
Damn, this is like almost a Bunga podcast, right? Like
The Bunga podcast, yeah.
I will say that, man, after yesterday, okay, we had technical difficulties and things got really shitty for the event, but holy crap, like the team's idea was fucking brilliant, man. I gotta say that was probably the best idea I've had. Like, besides starting our own fucking league, was fucking the teams thing. Because, man, you saw chat was just getting ruckus. People were getting very involved, and so I consider it a success. But what do you guys think so far? Since
I think it's a good change-up.
I like the team's idea. I don't know what Kabalsak doesn't like about it.
He thinks he has to share his money with a team, and I'm like, dude, without one, you're not making any. Like, unless you can beat Sizoth, which clearly you can't, or else you would have in the fucking 5 times you fucking had to fight him. Like, you would have beaten him. You've not been able, I mean, hey, if you believe in yourself, then fuck yeah. But, like, you should probably join a team as insurance, because that's the whole point, is it's basically like insurance for if you don't fucking beat Sizoth. So, like, I don't understand why people thought that it was a bad thing. I was like, no, dude. Like, the only person that's going to make less money is, like, the person who didn't even accept their winnings, and it was Julop for the fucking second place thing.
Yeah, I think it was a good switch up, and I think everybody has a pretty good chance. I think the idea that people can switch teams in the middle of the league will also be an interesting setup, because already day one, like, people are hyped for teams, and it's a completely different game. You're thinking about other people too. I mean, but yet yourself.
Yeah, I enjoyed that part. Like, you just got a team of people rooting for you. You got the emotes in the chat and everything. And I feel like it's just fun to be a member of a team and all that.
Well, yeah, and that was something that I was talking about the other day was, I wanted to bring like a cooperative element to what we do here. Because I look at, like, really, like, it's not like I'm biting someone else's style, but I look at, like, really successful streams, and a lot of them are like Grand Theft Auto streamers and, fucking Minecraft, Roblox, or, those games where, or what's the VR chat, right? Where there's like a whole kind of a communal, but also a cooperative, like everybody's, hanging out, chilling, but also working towards something together instead of just beating each other's ass. And I wanted to add something like that, and I was like, well, I'm not going to, like, play a MMO, and I'm certainly not playing a shooter, and, like, good luck getting into one of those Grand Theft Auto servers. Like, so I was like, you know what? Like,
so long.
Let's just do it with what we've got, man. Like, let's do it with what we've got and create our own competitive or cooperative element here. And, like, so far, I think it's working out pretty well. We've done one day.
We've done one day. It's going great.
I like the idea and wrestling theme to it, like wrestling team theme, Trash Talk Temple divided.
Right?
Only one team comes out on top. Ladder match.
And it'll be size off.
Well, he's not on a team. He's the champ.
Yeah, I know. It'll be just size off. All these teams, they want to be the top, and it's just going to be size off.
Right? He's above that. He stands above that. And that was something that I was, like, thinking is, like, yo, if somebody ever topples him and becomes the champion, like, he's going to be the hottest free agent ever. Like, everyone's going to be fighting to get
everyone wants size
Everybody's going to be like, yeah, he's on our team. And I'm just thinking, like, I don't know if I would want him on my team, because then you'll never be team captain again. Because you're going to have to
so there are advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, so, like, in order to get team captain again, you're going to have to beat him. And if he's on a team and he's constantly winning team captain, like, you basically got to leave or get good enough to beat him. And that's what I think is going to I want to see how that plays out, because he's definitely going to get you like the winning team, bonus, whatever team he joins when he does.
So where does STG come from?
So S tier is Lanky's. I don't like calling them a team. They're an esports organization. They have a team, but they do a lot of shit. Like they do a lot. So they do have an esports team. I think Hijinks did really well at Evolution this year. And so he's does a lot of he's like one of their star players. I think J Chan actually did pretty well at Evo. I know J Chan did good in the what is it, the combat, the pro combat series, or pro competition. Yeah, J Chan did well there. Sizoth is a member of S tier as well. But that's just like their team side, and they have players for like other games. They have a Tekken team as well, and they also run their own events. They also like sponsor streamers that they have on their team and whatnot. So there's a lot of stuff that they do, and that's why I
Wow.
say it's unfair to. And it's run by, to the best of my knowledge, Lanky and Black Links, and I think J Chan does a lot. And actually, Hatcher from our stream, right? She does a lot of their administrative work, I believe.
Okay.
So they're like, that's why I don't like calling them a team, because that's a big part of what they do, but it's not like it's not so big of a part that it's defining, right? I wouldn't say that the team defines them. It's just what's in the media right now, because Hijinks did so well. But like, they host tournaments. They're trying to set up offlines. They had their first offline that I was at, because I'm considered. Let's see. I believe my official role within S tier is affiliated consultant or something like that. So like I'm a part of S tier, but not like officially. Like I value my independence, and I told Lanky and Blacklinks, I was like, hey man, like anything you guys need, and at any time, and if you guys are having any tournaments, I'm gonna be there. But like, I'm trying to build my own thing, and it seems like you guys are trying to build your own thing. So why don't we, instead of like, you know, fucking instead of me joining, why don't we just collaborate a lot and then we grow together? Because I feel like we wanted to do different things. They wanted to go more in a like building the team esports like event kind of thing, whereas I want to focus more on the stream aspect. And so it's like if I'm helping out a lot with like what they're trying to do, they're gonna need a lot of help, and it would be disingenuous for me to try to get involved when I know my priorities are going to be to my stream and my YouTube. So like, I felt like it wouldn't be fair to them. Just if they need me, I'm here, and at any time, and that's it's been good for me so far, and it's been good for them. They've been kicking ass.
Well, that's good. That's good. So what you're saying is, S tier, like, I mean, like you said, they're an organization. They do multiple things. Like there's multiple veins to which S tier reaches out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even
Gotcha,
know
gotcha.
exactly all of what they do. You'd want to talk to like Lanky about that, but like, like Lanky's a lawyer in real life. Like the S
Oh,
tier
Really?
is not a fucking there. It's not like
Really?
a clan. Like that's the thing I'm trying to get in people's mind is I'm like, dude, like Lanky is a lawyer in downtown LA. Like this is not like some fucking
whoa.
clan like STG. It's like a fucking, oh yeah, man, we got beef with this squad. It's like, no, dude, like Lanky has plans. Lanky and Lynx have like a lot of plans for what they want to do, and they're looking to go big, and they're looking to go big in a very esports direction, man. They're gonna take over esports. If anybody can, it would be a lawyer from downtown LA, right?
That'd be an
Yes,
interesting title card.
Yeah.
Lawyer and
lawyer,
MK11 amp.
lawyer
Well,
from downtown LA.
I think this evolution really drilled into everybody's mind how serious STG is now. Now that Hijinks did so well at the World Championships, everybody's like, okay, who is this clan, right? And I'm like, yeah, dude, these are like the guys I hang out with these guys, I train with these guys, I go to tournaments with these guys. Like, these are the level of people that I like play with and have earned respect from. So when people are telling me, they're like, yo, like, you don't know what you're talking about in fighting games or Mortal Kombat, and I'm like, really? Because like the people I train with, like, they were able to get a guy to go very far into Evo, and they respect what I say. So, maybe I know what I'm talking about.
It's quite frustrating to hear that from somebody. It's just you don't know what you're talking about when you're playing this game. One of the most frustrating things in the world for any
Uh,
game, for that matter.
It's like those things where you can't even come up with an argument because of how stupid they sound. It's like,
Well,
dude, I, I
it,
know about this game. You can't tell me that I don't know about this game.
Well, it doesn't really bother me. I find it like entertaining, like when people are in the comments and like, or in chat, and they're like, you're an idiot, what you're talking about. And usually it has very little to do with like the actual game. It's almost always like from a place of like, you said something I don't agree with, and so now everything you say is shit. Like, like maybe I defended Fatal Blow on Twitter or something, and somebody's mad now because I'm the guy that defended Fatal Blow. So you don't know what you're talking about, and everything you say is shit. And it's like, whatever, man. I'm not like, I don't care. It's not going to really affect me or change any of my positions or beliefs or anything. But it's like, yo, man, I run with a pretty sweaty crew, man. Like, the people I hang out
Yeah.
with are no fucking joke. And like, that's what I'm telling people. I'm like, in Southern California, like, S tier gaming is just a bunch of friends from the SoCal scene. Like, it's literally like Steve and Iron Armor and like guys who've come, into my channel, and hung out in our King of the Hills and stuff. It's like, that's literally like the dudes that just started it. They just said like, yo, we should start like a team. Cause there used to be a team. There was what was the team that was out here? Oh, EGP was like the big shit, right? That was Compton's team, EGP. And like, I know Tyrant, Osimo, Wonder Chef, who was usually the Mortal Kombat commentator at Evolution. Those guys were like the big EGP guys, but when EGP folded, like Lanky and them were like, "Yo, somebody's got to fill the void to like get SoCal's talent out there." Because I think the whole idea at first was to like find a way to showcase SoCal's talent, like to show like how good the talent is here, and they've grown from there. But I always tell people, I'm like, dude, literally a local here in Southern California is basically a major. Like, we don't have weekly locals. I think us in SoCal, NorCal, New York, and Atlanta, I believe, can make those claims because those are the ones with the big weeklies. And so, like, if you go to a weekly in like New York, or if you go to like one of the SoCal weeklies, like, it's basically a major. Like, all the players there are either pros or train with pros or hang out with pros, or like we're all a very tight knit community. There's several players in like SoCal that are like pro sponsored, like they fucking, like somebody pays for their travel. You know what I mean? Like, when I say pro
Hmm.
sponsored, I mean like when they go to a tournament, they are paid to go to that tournament. So like there's like quite a few of those, and that's our locals. You show up to your locals and like it's a 20-man bracket, and all 20 of those people would be top 8 in any other competition. The only reason why all of us aren't top 8 is cuz all of us are here. And so, finding out who's going to hit top 8 is more a question of like who was able to make it this week, because everybody is that fucking killer in SoCal, and it's it's very, very rough and sweaty. This is literally the best place if you want to get good. Those like hotbeds, NorCal, Northern California, Southern California, New York, and then I'd probably say Atlanta. Although Texas is starting to get that way, but it's still not. It's still not as big as it could be, as you would think Texas would be. I think Atlanta has a bigger and more prestigious scene than Texas. You hear a lot like Atlanta players, like, dude, that's fucking final round. That's that crew. Like, yeah, you don't fuck with Atlanta. Their weeklies are the sweatiest weeklies in the South. I am very confident to say that.
Well, there are a lot of people a lot more people sweating at this game on the East Coast than there are on the West Coast, and I could just tell that based on the
Not from my state.
online PlayStation. What's up, Asvix?
I said not from my state.
Yeah, I
Not from your state.
Yeah, like on the East Coast, not many people
no.
are.
When you say East Coast, you really mean like the New York, New Jersey, like kind of area, metropolitan
Yeah, I would
area.
say
Yeah,
That because like honestly, there's not a very big scene in like the Carolinas. There's not a huge scene in DC. There's a small scene. There's a strong scene in DC, but like all of the East Coast kind of gets lumped together when really the East Coast is New York and Florida. As far as like when you think of the East Coast, it's like New York and it's kind of like the West Coast. Like when you think of the West Coast, you think of SoCal and then you think of NorCal. And Washington, Oregon, like those players usually travel. Like Utah usually travel to the NorCal stuff. Whereas SoCal, like it's called SoCal, but it's really the Southern California, like Southern Nevada, Arizona tri-state area because like people from SoCal will regularly just drive the fucking 4 hours it takes to go to Arizona and vice versa. But that's like kind of how
yeah, because at
everything
the
is
very
set up.
bottom, because the very bottom of those states, they're all pretty mashed together, right? On the map, anyway, if I'm picturing it right.
What do you mean the bottom of the states? Oh, you mean like
Like California, Arizona,
yeah, like
Nevada.
we're all like California, Arizona, and then like Southern Nevada. Because like I think Northern Nevada players usually go to like Vegas or NorCal. That's where they'll usually go. Vegas does have like kind of its own scene, but most of the people that are serious in Vegas just they know to go to SoCal. So like there is a Vegas scene, but like the really serious players travel to SoCal anyways. So it's like one of the things that usually motivates people to travel is I want to play new players that I've never played before. And so like that's the reason why people from SoCal almost never travel, right? Outside of majors. Like we won't travel to like weeklies or whatever cuz like everybody comes here. Like why would I go to like an Arizona local when I know that everybody is going to come to like the local that's 2 hours from my house in Southern California. Which yeah, sometimes you got to drive like 2 or 3 hours depending on like where you're going and where you're coming from. Southern California is very very it's a very big place. People forget how big it is out here. So like for example, it was like an hour to an hour and a half drive for me to get to like the weekly where I hung out with like S tier and all of them, and that was like an
Yeah.
hour both ways. So like the tournaments and whatnot would start at like 9 o'clock, so I'd have to leave the house at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then I usually won't get home. Like unless I left early, I wouldn't get home till like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd have to go to work the next day. So yeah, you got to be pretty dedicated to fighting games. But and I consider what I did like fucking easy. Like there are some people I know that drive like 6 to 8 hours to go to a weekly, and I'm just like, you're fucking nuts, dude. You're
Wow,
nuts. I mean, they don't go every week.
that's too much for me, man.
Well, like there were a couple of weeklies where there was guys from like Vegas that would come once a month, and I know that drive is like 5 or 6 hours, I believe, from where
At
they were
least.
going. Yeah, so like they were driving that once a month, and so yeah. But it's like the SoCal players would rarely go up to like Vegas because like the good Vegas players were coming to the monthly, and like we would just be going there to play the people that we already play regularly and the people that weren't really confident enough to travel. So like nobody from SoCal would really go to like regular tournaments in Vegas, and I think that's why a lot of like these satellite regions around SoCal, like they kind of like have not very strong communities, because when you can get to one of the big mecca communities, it's like I might as well travel. Like I could go to this weekly and like spend the gas and food and whatever, like because when I was going, it cost me probably about $50 a night. So it's like I'd be spending that on this weekly, or I can save up my money and go to the monthly where we're going to be in California, and like Alex Valle will be there, and fucking all these pros will be there. So like yeah, that's So those weeklies, they end up struggling to get and retain players just because you only have so much time and you only have so much money to like travel to this shit.
Oh yeah, that just sounds way more resourceful. Dang, I wish I could do that. I'm all the way up here in like Washington, so
I've never
that's a
been to
long drive.
California.
Yeah, so how long would it take you to get to like Sacramento? Like that's like what, 6 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours?
Let's see, what would that approximately be? Or are you talking to Asvix? Because Asvix, aren't you in
Whoa.
Florida?
So you just said
I'm
you
in
were in
Ohio.
you said you were
Oh,
in
you're in
Washington.
Ohio.
Ohio, you would want to be hitting the Great Lakes area. Like Chicago is probably the scene that you would find like the most activity. I don't know how
I
far
could
you
work
are
with
from
that.
Chicago. What is that, like a fucking day
It's
drive?
a 7 hour. What? Well, 7, 8, 9 hours maybe.
9 hour drive. Yeah, like I mean, you could take a quick flight or whatever to go to a monthly. That would end up costing you like you could go to a monthly and it'd probably be like $100 a month, like depending on how dedicated you were to going to that monthly. But I think Ohio is starting to get its own scene. That's the thing
I haven't
about
heard
like
much of it.
there's a lot of people. I think what delayed it was like COVID, but I think a lot of areas are starting to like build their scenes because I see it on Reddit all the time. I see it, in other like communal portals, Test Your Might or whatever. People talking about like how do I start a scene and how do I like get people coming to my events and hey, I'm gonna start one or hey, does anybody know of one? Like the interest is out there. I think the pandemic kind of put a halt on that, but when this game came out, it was like starting to build itself and then it got put on hold.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I just looked up on my GPS. It would take me from where I'm at 10 hours and 28 minutes, 695 miles. That's a
Jesus.
long time. That is a long time. That's a long car ride. That's like two
Yeah.
audiobooks worth at
Oh
least.
shit.
Right.
Oh, never mind. Chicago for me is less than 6 hours.
Oh yeah, then you should be going over there. That's the combo breaker crew. Those guys. I think there's a couple of guys that are part of the combo breaker crew that run a weekly or a monthly or something. But yeah, that's the one that I would be looking into. As far as Washington, I know there is a scene in Washington. So like a lot of the players in like the Washington scene, it's kind of like the Vegas scene. Like they'll primarily kind of save up their money to travel to NorCal tournaments. But there are some like locals out there. There are weeklies out there. I just know that the players in like Washington and Oregon and all of that. Thanks for the follow. They usually kind of congregate in the NorCal, like Sacramento, San Francisco area. Usually like Sacramento, San Francisco, Oakland is where all of the
Might be
NorCal.
worth checking that out then. Um, Something I'd like to bring up. Did you guys watch Games Gone at all?
No,
No.
I did not.
There was a trailer for a new Marvel game, and for a split second, I was thinking because they weren't saying anything about the title beforehand. For
Hmm
a split second, I thought that was going to be the Marvel fighting
The
game.
Marvel fighting game. Oh my God.
I honestly
Yeah.
did for a split second because the game looked really good. I'm like, oh my gosh, it could be just because of how many diverse characters are in it. And I was thinking, man, if this is the fighting game, that's a good cast.
What did it end up?
Blade,
What did it end
Wolverine,
up
Ghost
being?
Rider. It ended up being
It's the
made by
XCOM.
2K.
It's the XCOM game. So the guys that made XCOM are making that, and I heard it's gonna be like XCOM, so like
Yeah,
strategy, turn-based, tactical, probably
Oh, okay.
permadeath kind of thing. Um, so that was kind of cool. Like I don't know, man. I gotta see this Marvel game or whatever the fuck it is. I gotta see it first to say anything, man. Like NetherRealm doesn't pay me to shill. Like that's why I'm like, yeah, man. Like I'm not being paid to say that I'm hyped for a Marvel game, and I know that I'm really not. Like that is like the least. That is like the hype killer for me is like a Marvel fighting game. Like that to me that's the worst possible case. And I'm not saying that the game would be bad. Like it's just like of all the things that they could do, like that's the one I want them to do the least.
I'll agree with you right there. I mean, they could be, I mean, again, Injustice 3 or MK12.
That's the thing
I'm
is
not
they've
sure if,
already done
yeah.
Injustice. It's like I would rather they spread their wings and like people are like, oh, why don't they just do a movie game? They always add Predator and fucking RoboCop and shit. Why don't they do? And I'm like, you know what? That would be fucking cool. I would be cool with that. Like no one's ever done that before. You know, like have Wolfman and Dracula and like really go crazy with it. I think them
They
doing
got
a
Pennywise in
macabre,
there.
yeah, or even just like a horror theme. Like, what if they just did it with like Frankenstein and the fucking creature from the Black Lagoon, like in their fucking art style? Like, I'd be cool for all that. But like the Marvel one, it would just be like Injustice with Spider-Man. And I know a lot of people say
Justice
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
like people
That's
are like.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, people say that Injustice is just MK with Batman, and it's like, well, no, like
It's really
you
not.
can't like aesthetically no, like because Batman, look, like Liu Kang, if you're like watching the stream and not listening to this as a podcast, Liu Kang's doing a fatality. Batman does not do that. There's like aesthetic
No.
differences, not just
No.
gameplay differences. But like Marvel characters are like DC characters are like, I don't kill people. Like, yeah, Wolverine and Punisher, but they're considered assholes in the Marvel universe. Like Spider-Man, like he does not kill. Neither does, fucking Thor or whatever. Like it's the same shit. So like it's not like we're gonna get the graphic superhero that people would kind of want. It would just basically aesthetically be Injustice, and then the mechanics would go from there. But it's like, like the mechanics are the mechanics. If the game is dope, then that's fine. Like I'll play the game, but like I would rather have different aesthetics. Like personally,
It's like they'd almost have to go like gritty with it, like almost make an underground Marvel fighting game where you had just those asshole characters and other brutal characters, because you'd have to have the Hulk. I could see Ghost Rider in there,
I
Blade, the
could definitely see
Punisher,
Ghost Rider.
Wolverine. What's another brutal character? Maybe put some villains in there like Omega Red or something like that from the X-Men, or Magneto, because Magneto would be brutal. He definitely tear some shit apart.
right?
Like you need some brutal characters for them to do that, and I would appreciate that as a concept altogether. But I am timid. I mean, I don't know if that's how you feel, Badger, but I am timid of the direction that they would go if they decided to do a Marvel game.
Well, it's
I am
just like
too.
mechanically, like, dude, like when you're looking at powers, like even like I'm just thinking, like, how could they make this gameplay like interesting? Like Mortal Kombat's
Yeah,
all
like how
about martial artists, but like the Injustice games, those are like superhero powers. It's like, okay, like, well, like we already have fighting games with superhero powers. Like I'd like to see them try and figure out how to make a fighting game with like fucking how do you make a fighting game character out of Pennywise? NetherRealm could do it. I want to see that shit. I already know they could make a fighting game character out of fucking Wolverine. Like, I've seen that, But, like, how do you make a fucking fighting game character out of Michael Myers? They did it with Jason. How do you make him different from Jason? I would be interested to see that more than, like, how do you make a fighting game character out of Spider-Man?
yeah, it's
Have
like
to
he's
expand it.
swinging everywhere. Like he you don't usually see Spider-Man just grounded the entire time.
Well, it's just we got
He'd be a
Marvel
fun
versus
character.
Capcom. You want to know what Spider-Man looks like in a fighting game? Go play Marvel versus Capcom.
Oh,
See,
sorry.
and Pennywise, like just as a side note, I think Pennywise would play similarly to someone who uses like nightmares, kind of like a similar comment or similar concept to Scarecrow. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, J-Ro. What's up?
Oh, J-Ro's in here? Is he muted again?
I can
No,
hear him.
Let me unmute him. Unmute. There we go. You should be unmuted.
You hear me?
There he is. Tardy
right.
motherfucker. Introduce yourself and then say what you were gonna say.
Oh, I'm J-Ro, but I just came at a random time and then heard about Pennywise.
Pennywise in a fighting game.
All right.
But-
I just think that that's like a better direction. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not an artsy fartsy kind of guy, but I think artistically, like, I want to see shit I ain't never seen out of NetherRealm, dude. That's why I don't even want them to make another fighting game. Just fucking make DLC for this one. Because they're so talented, dude. They do cool shit. Like, this is like, okay, this is the moment where people will absolutely think that I'm a shill. But, like, dude, like, fuck, man, these characters look cool. Like, you look at the concept art and people are like, why didn't they add this costume? Why didn't they add that costume? And it's like, dude, if they would have added that one, you would have said that about another one. Okay, like, they have talented people. Like, they make dope shit, right? And I want to see them make, like, dope shit I ain't never seen before. Because I've seen, like, 30 years of NetherRealm fighting games. Like, I want to, and the last time we got games from them that weren't fighting games was, like, fucking Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, which was dope. And then before that was fucking Special Forces, and like that game,
which was ass.
yeah, but that game went through development hell. Like, that was like an intergenerational like fuck fest for that game. Like, they didn't even get a chance to make it dope. So it's like, man, I want to see them make like something dope that I never seen before, because I've already seen them do fighting games and they honestly outdid themselves. And I'm sure that the next fighting game mechanically will probably be better than this one, because they just seem to get better and better. But it's going to be disappointing because, like, dude, imagine, like, a fucking NetherRealm first-person shooter, right? Imagine they had a shooter and
That'd be
you played
dumb.
as
That'd be
fucking...
good.
No, dude, Jackson Sonya in the NetherRealm. It's basically fucking Doom, but with Mortal Kombat characters. Like, that shit would be tight.
That does sound
You're right.
cool,
You're right.
actually.
Imagine
Yeah.
Jax doing fatalities, like, because Doom has those melee kills where you get the health. Imagine
Yeah, the
that shit, but
glory
it's fucking
kills.
Jax moves.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be.
I'd play that game.
Right?
Well,
Like, I would
see,
rather
even
that.
well, see, even if they wanted to still push a Mortal Kombat agenda here, like not even right away, like maybe even years down the line, and they took those concepts, these alternate concepts, and made another game, it could evolve into something that they actually implement into Mortal Kombat, like a improved conquest mode or a different, a different mode to put into Mortal Kombat, like a different multiplayer, a different story mode, a different everything. I think they could really expand on the lore like that and implement
Yeah,
that
but
in a brand new game.
instead of
I feel
just
like
a
that's
mode,
years of content.
yeah, but instead of a mode, why not a full experience? Like, Conquest mode was tight, but like, what if they made Conquest mode a full fucking game, like The Witcher 3, but
By
you play as
itself,
fucking
yeah.
Kung Lao? You know, like,
Or oh
Witcher
yeah.
3 Kung Lao.
Or
like,
it's like it goes in the For Honor direction where it turns into a conquest mode, but it's like For Honor combat.
yeah,
That would be dope.
like, dude, I could even imagine like them making a fucking hack and slash game like Devil May Cry, and you play as like, I don't know, fucking Scorpion, or play as like, even incorporate the lore. You're Takeda. You found out Devora killed fucking Scorpion, so now you have a Devil May Cry game of fucking Takeda slashing through bug monsters in Outworld. Like, you could make that into a Devil May Cry game. And
There you
like,
go. There's
that
your
shit
story.
would fucking work. And then there you go. Like, okay, now we had 2-player because Takeda's married to Jackie. Boom, Shaolin Monks 2. It's not hard.
Boom. Oh yeah, I mean the adventure could even go on. It's all like Takeda goes on the same thing of revenge. Jackie gets killed or some shit, and he becomes the next Scorpion, the next Hellspawn.
Dude, I would play a
Bro,
Shaolin Monks 2 that's Takeda
that's
and
such
Jackie.
a cool idea.
That would be sick. I would approve of that. Maybe like go into more like the Noob Saibot, like how his powers work, or more like Brotherhood of Shadow shit. That would be pretty cool too, because I don't feel like they expanded
Explain.
upon that. Yeah, like because Noob Saibot, I mean, you obviously have Quan Chi, but Noob Saibot's part of the Brotherhood of Shadow. Who the hell are the rest of the Brotherhood of Shadow?
It was Shinnok and Quan Chi. The Brotherhood of Shadow is just people who work with Shinnok.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like more like a religious group.
a cult?
It's just
Or like a
like
cult group.
nah, that's kind of just like
No.
they're kind of like the Outworld, like the Brotherhood of
Just
Shadow.
evil.
Yeah, they're like
Okay.
Just the bad guys. The stereotypical NetherRealm bad guys.
yeah, they're just like because it don't get no higher than Shinnok. Shinnok is like the utmost in the Nether realm.
Yeah, and and why I went that trade of thinking was, Shinnok's a god and stuff. Like who worships that guy?
Well, because he was
Is
an
he?
elder god.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
good point.
Well, nobody worships Shinnok. He's an elder god. Like Mortal Kombat, like people like you can't think of gods in Mortal Kombat like gods in like our world, our real life of like being of having religious significance. Because in Mortal Kombat, they know that God is real. right? In our world, there's no God, right? You either believe or you don't, but it's not like God is walking down the street waving at people like Raiden could just show up at your house. Like, you can't deny the existence. It's not like who would worship Shinnok. It's not like you would have a choice. If Shinnok were in your world, are you going to fucking argue with that guy? Probably. He got beat up by Chassis Cage. Yeah, I'd fucking argue with him. Be like, Shinnok, you're a
This is
bitch.
bubblegum, dude.
You're a bitch. Shut the fuck up. You got beat by Cassie Cage. She's not even, she got nerfed once and you haven't even seen her in competition.
Yeah, that's a good point of view though. Like they're physically there. Like there's nothing to like have faith or hope that they're existing. They do exist.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you could believe that God exists here. You could also not believe that God exists, and like, it's one of those unanswerable questions. It's not like there's a book, but in the Mortal Kombat universe, like, they have fucking scrolls and tomes telling the history. Like, and yay, this is when Fujin became of godhood, and in the beginning there was Kronika. Like, that shit can be proven in the Mortal Kombat universe. So I think that they're very, very different concepts. And, you know, Shinnok being worshipped, yeah, he probably would have been worshipped.
I've often
Shinnok
thought
is,
about. Keep
Shinnok
going,
is
Jaron.
Shinnok is fucking Kronika's son, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
See, and I've always
Yeah.
thought it was weird because like there has to be some people on Earthrealm that like believe in Christianity. Like, you know, like I feel like Johnny Cage, for example, like once he came into the or you know, was introduced in the tournament and stuff, his world was probably flipped upside down if he believed in,
I
you
don't
know,
think-
Christianity.
I don't think
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Christianity exists in the Mortal Kombat universe. I think they have like a Christianity like placeholder, like kind of like how Warcraft has the light, right? The light isn't
Mhm.
Christianity, but it's definitely inspired by it. So I think Mortal Kombat has some like, you know, religion that's definitely inspired by Christianity. But like, because the original games were focused entirely on like the Shaolin Kung Fu stuff, the religion, that's the thing, is a lot of people they can't picture things outside of a Western point of view. So that's why Mortal Kombat's like religion, it all makes sense to me because I'm looking at it as an Asian, and Mortal Kombat was based in Asia with like, I don't want to say in ignorance to Western culture, but it was like Western culture was not the focus. Like, this is
Yeah.
about Chinese
Yeah,
gods fighting amongst each other, and like, you know, like fucking this shit is about Shaolin monks, and yeah, there is, the West exists. Sonya is there and Johnny Cage, they're important characters, but it's not like you know what Sonya and Johnny Cage's religion is, whereas you know Liu Kang's religion. It's fucking Raiden.
It's Raiden.
It more or
Yeah.
less took the path of the Asian mythos.
Yeah, it was like, it's kind of like when you think about Western art, like, you know, like you look at fucking Family Guy. Family Guy does acknowledge that there are Buddhists in the world, but you wouldn't necessarily say that Family Guy is based on Eastern, like, life, you know. It's based on Judeo-Christian American culture. So the default religion in Family Guy is everybody is defaulted to be Christian, and that's fine. It's
And
an
it makes fun
American
of all
show.
of them.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
American show made by an American guy about American culture. But like Mortal Kombat was
Yes.
American guys trying to make a game about Eastern culture. So they kind of just said, yeah, man, like, you know, Jesus, you know, something like Jesus exists, but like the religion here that we're focused on is fucking Raiden and Fujin and shit like that.
Which is funny. I remember looking this up one day. Raijin and Fujin, I guess, in that mythos, and you know, the mythos we see in our real world, they're chaos spirits. They're like chaotic spirits, and Fujin bangs the drum for the thunder while Raiden summons the lightning, and they just cause chaos.
What? Really?
Yeah, they're
well, it's
Oni, considered
Kind of
Oni.
weird how they flipped. Kind of weird how they flipped that
Well,
in the
so
Mortal Kombat.
Kinda. The thing is, so like China's like ancient religion is like, and I believe it's called ancestralism. Like they don't really like there are gods, but like in Chinese culture, they don't really give a shit about gods. Like the gods are like the Monkey King and like the Emerald Emperor on the fucking 10 pairs mountain or whatever.
Great
right?
stories.
Like that's just like that's like the god like what the Chinese people like worshipped like when they had their religion was the ancestors. You went and prayed to the ancestors to watch over you. When you died, you went to join the ancestors. Everything was all about family. But like you can't really make a religion for a video
Family.
game. Like you can't be like, all right, and then Liu Kang prayed to his Uncle Watson to get the strength to defeat Shinnok, the Lord of the Underworld. Right? Like, that doesn't really work. So, Mortal Kombat's mythology was based on Shintoism, which is the Japanese, like, it's literally the Japanese religion. People, like, act like Shintoism is kind of like the Norse mythology, like, it's mythology, like, nobody believes that really anymore. Like, no, like, in Japan, like, they've always believed in Shintoism. Like, there's shrines and shit everywhere. Like, that's not mythology to them. They believe in like the Kitsune god, and they believe in Raiden and Fujin are fucking deities to the Japanese people. But so Mortal Kombat used that because they wanted to keep the Asian focus. So like China doesn't really have gods of note. I mean, you could get the Monkey King in there, but like that's about it. Like there's not too many like notable big ones that people would know that like would have had significance in Chinese culture anyways. So they use the Japanese gods.
I just looked up Raiden. Looks evil as hell.
Yeah, he's a chaotic spirit, A buddy of mine, going more into that, stories and stuff, Japanese stories. A buddy of mine once said he admired how Raiden was designed in this game. And he was pointing out, he was like, this is how much detail they put into it. They put a rope around Raiden's waist. And in Japanese culture, they would put ropes around trees to bind spirits to them. So he's a spirit bound to himself with that rope around his waist. And I'm like, really? That's detail. I like that.
Oh yeah.
That's
Like
cool. That's
Raiden
cool.
is like very, very, very heavily like every little detail they could have put about Raiden in there. And that's why initially like people kind of assumed that Raiden was Asian. And then why, it doesn't really bother me that in the live action movie it was Asian, because I'm like, he's not even like really inspired by an Asian god. Like Raiden is kind of like Thor. Okay, Thor is not inspired by a Norse god. Like that's like our modern interpretation of what this character would be in our modern society, is like if Thor were alive in modern times. That is the Thor of Norse mythology. I feel like Raiden is more on that point. Like he's not inspired by these Shinto gods. Like he is the fucking Raiden of the Shinto universe, like, but just transposed into a modern context like Thor for Marvel would be.
I also think, I also think it's just changed through time. I didn't have a problem with the movie version so much, just because I'm like, yeah, because I'm usually a faithful, what would you call it? A loyalist. There we go. I'm a loyalist to the original content. So I was expecting maybe someone that looks more like Raiden, but it was an interesting choice to go with a shorter man for that role as well. Like, I mean, it's kind of like 50-50 for me on that role.
Fuck that. Short men win. Dude, short guys only have one fucking hero. In all of media, there's only one hero known for being short and still being badass, and it's Wolverine. And what did they do? They hired fucking 6'3" fucking Hugh Jackman to play that shit. And now everybody thinks Wolverine is fucking tall. All of us short dudes lost Wolverine. Tall guys took that from us. No, fuck you, dude. Raiden's tiny now. You gotta hold that. You gotta hold that, dude. He's a little Japanese dude or whatever. I think he's like
it doesn't matter.
He's Django Fett.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's short or not. He'll whip anyone's ass. So like, yeah. I mean, the dude was badass. Like, no discredit to how the dude did it at all. Like, no even discredit to how short he is. He still played Raiden. Motherfucker, sweep you. He'll make you disappear because you talk too much. Like, Raiden's powerful. He's not messing with you.
And that's what I liked, dude. I I loved that about him. Because, like, when you play Mortal Kombat 1, and I always default to, like, how was it in Mortal Kombat 1? If you've played Mortal Kombat 1 and you beat the game with Raiden, he jumpstarts Armageddon because he's bored. Like, he was a fucking bad motherfucker in Mortal Kombat 1.
Wait, really?
He was a G, dude.
Yeah, he did.
He's a badass motherfucker. Like,
wow.
yo, dude, like, so Raiden acting like a fucking shithead in the fucking movie, I was like, yo, dude, those guys are paying homage to the real Raiden. Because Raiden is not no Obi-Wan Kenobi looking like motherfucker. Like, yeah, he's kind of evolved. Like, from Mortal Kombat 2 on, he became like Obi-Wan Kenobi. But, like, in Mortal Kombat 1, he was literally like a god that was bored and wanted to see what the mortals were up to. So he joined the tournament, and when he won it, he was like, wow, I guess the mortals aren't that good at fighting. I'm going to invite all of my friends who are the other gods, and we're going to have our own tournament. And then those gods battled it out, and the battle was so great that it destroyed everything in the universe. And the end of the world began. And that is fucking
Let's
Raiden's...
destroy the world.
Yeah, that's Raiden's ending in MK1. You can Google it. It's on YouTube.
Wow.
And that really adds layers to that scene in Mortal Kombat 1 1995 when Raiden, he was mentioning, you will fight in a tournament called Mortal Kombat. You will all fight to the death. And then he just giggles afterwards. His little fucking cackly man. Why, thank you.
That was actually pretty good.
The elder gods are pleased.
That's actually really good.
That's actually really good.
It's really good.
I don't think so.
It's really good.
Dude, don't let Lanky hear that. You know what, man? I'm gonna have you leave him a voicemail and have him shit his pants. I'll be like, dude, hey, I just met this guy named Chris. I guess he's like from Europe or something. Here, Chris, say something, and then you talk like fucking Raiden.
Talk.
He'd fucking lose his shit. What? You met Lord Elder God?
I must consult the elder gods to see if you will truly survive, because there truly can be only one.
Right? He would lose
Oh my
his shit,
gosh.
man. I don't know, man. I like both versions of Raiden. Since Chronica and all this timeline shit, we can have like 50 different kinds of Raiden. Fuck it, let's have them all. Because like the Obi-Wan Kenobi Raiden, that really started with MK2. And I thought that was cool. And like Christopher Lambert's a G. Like I wouldn't want to get rid of that image of Raiden. But I think Raiden just kind of being a cock-ass is like, I don't know, it's cool, dude. We had Christopher Lambert. You're not going to top his performance of that character. Might as well do something different.
Like, and it was really, I mean, I don't know, like, even saying these 3 words, we could go into like veins of subject on Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The actor that they chose to replace Chris Lambert, I like that actor, but what? That's all I gotta say about that. What?
Even as
I actually haven't seen Annihilation. Who plays Raiden?
Skip it.
Oh,
don't even. We cut it right here. We cut it right here. MK.
No, you need to watch this. You need to watch.
Oh, I need to watch it.
You need, dude. First of all, you have to be familiar with our culture. Okay, do it for the culture. You're not gonna understand the best memes in Mortal Kombat if you've never seen Annihilation. Like half of the inside jokes in fucking MK11 are Annihilation memes. So like that, yeah, you need to see Annihilation, dude. You need to see fucking Chinese Jade, right? Like you need to see and dude,
it's kind of hot.
She is hot, but like you need to see the animalities. You need to see fucking Nightwolf's 30 seconds. You need to see.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude! You have to see this movie. It is so.
Is this soul crushing or is it so bad it's good?
Dude, it's up there. Like Mortal Kombat Annihilation was Tommy Wiseau's The Room before that movie got made. So like until we had The Room, we had Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh
yeah.
Man.
So I guess with that respect, yes. Yes.
So like, have you ever seen that show Hercules: The Legendary Adventures or Legendary Journey or Xena: Warrior Princess? You ever see those shows?
I've heard of the Xena one, and I might have seen the Hercules one.
So they were like really cheesy, corny, like Saturday morning action TV shows in the 90s. Like they were kind of low budget. They weren't especially like well written, but they weren't like awful. Like it's kind of like a man's soap opera, almost like, like if you
Yeah.
just wanted to watch like Hercules beat up some fucking like poorly CGI'd
Monster,
Hydra
monster
monsters.
shit.
Yeah, like it was a fun Saturday, right? Like Hercules is dope. Xena was dope. I'm not saying that they're high art, but they were fucking fun. Well, Mortal Kombat Annihilation was like that, trying to tell you it was a big budget movie. Like when you watch it, you're
Oh,
like,
man.
yo, dude, this CGI is as bad as the CGI on Hercules, but like Hercules is a TV show that like clearly does not have a budget, like whereas this is like I paid $20 to see this shit. Like you get mad, man. Like that was why, like that's one of the things with Annihilation is like the budget was clearly like the budget of a TV show, and you're trying to tell me that this is a fucking movie.
Speaking of the Mortal Kombat movies, I haven't seen the brand new one that came out, the animated one. Everyone's saying it's shit. And have you guys seen it?
I've seen it. I've seen it, and without spoilers, since it is practically new. It's watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and they took the bad parts of Mortal Kombat Annihilation and added some really good parts into it.
I hear all the fights are like 30 seconds.
I actually went back and fact checked that because somebody said they were 30 seconds, and they're just a little longer. So they're not 30 seconds, but they're literally just a little longer than that.
Wait, 30 seconds per fight scene, or it's 30 seconds of fight scenes total?
No, per fight scene.
No, not
fine.
30 of fight
seconds
scenes.
per fight scene? Yeah, that's fine, dude. For a fucking 2-hour movie, I mean, it's probably not even 2 hours. I bet it's like an hour and a half.
I don't think it is.
Minutes,
Oh, it's $1.20.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
$1.20.
for like that, like if you're, dude, like you can't put that much like animated fight scene action into that, dude. I don't know what people were expecting, just like The Raid, where it's like, dude, we don't have a plot. This movie is one long hour-long fight scene. Like maybe that's fine, but then people are just gonna bitch because then their favorite character isn't that one, right? Like if they did that, oh yeah, this is just a 2-hour fucking fight scene with Scorpion. Anybody whose Scorpion is not their favorite character is no longer happy for this movie. Like they gotta cut it off. I think 30 seconds is fine.
And what you're saying, that is totally fair for like an hour 20 movie and stuff. But when you watch it, you'll see where that comes from on a different perspective, because you kind of have to watch it,
Well, I think the issue is not that the fight scenes are short, it's that everything surrounding the fight scenes is bad enough to feel long. Like people were probably shocked that each fight scene was 30 seconds because they're like, really? It really only felt like they were 3 seconds. Man, that shit dragged between those things. And I think that's
I saw the Johnny Devora fight, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like I genuinely thought that it was less than 10 seconds of just fighting. It's literally so short, and I was just like, damn, they really cut it that short.
And this may seem a little gosh, I may want to use the word ignorant, but when you have movies that come from the same animation studio, like one of the most recent Superman Man of Tomorrow, all of their Justice League movies, their Suicide Squad movies, a lot of those fight scenes, like they went on and on, and I am using that as a comparison. I know it's a different movie, but when it comes from the same animation studio, I mean, they use the same animators, and I mean, the animation is the same. Like, I feel like they could have expanded upon that. With that said, the 30 seconds and 45 seconds, sometimes they do feel longer just because of, it's a movie. Like, there are a lot of scenes in different movies you wouldn't realize are actually like 45 seconds of scene. I mean, just because of how intense a scene can be, it could seem like a minute, couple minutes in your head because you're sitting there processing it,
Well, I think the main issue is that for me, it sounds like this movie is basically more of the last one. Like, did you like the last one? That it has basically the same problems. If you did not like the last one, you will not like this one. But from what I'm hearing, people that love the last one are like, yeah, man, it's pretty dope. It's just more of that one. You know, they don't love it as much as the last one because it's not new anymore. It's a sequel. So there's always that diminishing return of like how much you love it when it's a sequel. But like people that liked the last one like this one. And I think that's really what people should be thinking about is like, did you like the last one? Because it's more of that. Because all the complaints I'm hearing about this one is the same shit. People like the story went too fast. And I'm like, really? Because the one before, the story went too fast. Oh, they like tried to cram a bunch of shit. Really? Because the first one, they tried to cram a bunch of shit and didn't have enough time. Oh, the fight scenes weren't nearly long enough and my favorite character got killed. And like, oh yeah, this character's just a jobber. I was excited to see them. And it's like, dude, how many people watched the trailer for the last one and saw Reptile and were like, oh yeah, Reptile, he's going to be dope. And then he just gets fucked up by Sonya and like
Murked.
fucking, you
It
know,
gets
in like 30
absolutely fucked
seconds.
up.
I'm like, dude, what did you expect? When I saw Lee May in the trailer, I was like, that bitch is getting fucking cut in half in like fucking 10 seconds. I was like, don't get excited for Lee May, you dumbass. It's going to be like the last one. Lee May is going to get fucking exploded by fucking Sonya or Liu Kang, right? Oh, yeah, look, dude, they got fucking Rico. Yeah, he's getting uppercutted by fucking Scorpion. This is how these work. They've established this. Why are people mad?
Yeah, that part I don't understand. I mean, the hypocrisy with the first liking the first one, but then just not liking that for the same reasons there's problems that the first one had. I mean, me personally, I like the movies for what they are. I feel like a lot of people who heavily critique movies like these should really just go into the series because they know that's going to be a series and it's got to be changed up from the games because I mean the games have been seen, the story's been told and stuff. I mean, if you go into it looking at it as its own movie, its own place within Mortal Kombat, I feel like people will have a good time.
Yeah, I think that Mortal
Movies are
Kombat
fun.
just has too many fucking try-hard nerd lores. Like, or lore nerds, nerd lores. They have too many try-hard lore nerds that are just like, yo, you can't satisfy these people. It's the fat fucking dude from the fucking Simpsons, the comic guy. You know, oh, you had a cardiac episode, and it was like, worst episode ever. Like, there's no pleasing most of these people. Like, you just fucking do what you do.
Yeah.
I think in art, you do what you think is fucking cool, and you just hope that people like it. And there's gonna be a lot that don't. And so like with a lot of the lore nerds complaining about it, like you're never gonna satisfy those people, dude. There were people like I grew up with like the era of like all of this nerd shit starting to be mainstream, right? So like when X-Men first was like that was kind of the breaking point, right? Like comic book movies, video games, all this nerdy shit was not mainstream. You had to hide your video games from fucking girls in high school. Okay. So like when X-Men came out and really opened the door for like nerdy shit to be in the mainstream, what did nerds do? Did they sit there and celebrate like, fuck yeah, this is dope, dude? Fuck, man, Wolverine's a little tall, but goddamn, Hugh Jackman, man, he's pretty cool, man. I like that shit. No, they fucking complained because Jean Grey's hair wasn't the correct shade of red.
What
Oh
the
my
fuck?
God.
Go and read interviews
Did
from
people
Famke
actually do that?
Jensen. Yeah, go read the Maxim interview from the fucking actress, right? Promoting the movie. When the movie came out, and she's like, man, I thought the fans would be more excited, but like whenever I meet the fans, they just complain about stuff like, oh, my hair is the improper shade of red, and so this movie is an abortion. And I'm like, dude, this is
Whatever.
before. This is like nowadays you expect this shit from like nerds, right? You expect that shit. But this was like in like 1999 or fucking some shit like that. Like, dude, we weren't even mainstream then. We weren't. We were still fucking basement virgins, like
God.
literally hiding our nerdy shit in the basement.
That's like genuinely kind of just disappointing if you're that butthurt of hair color.
Dude, if I was talking to a beautiful woman that looked like fucking Jean Grey from the movies, I'm telling you, complaints would be the last thing to come out of my mouth.
Exactly. It's like, dude.
Like, first of all, I'm going to be nice just on the off chance that she really is Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
You know, just in case
Dark
that shit's a
Phoenix.
documentary and not a movie. Like, yo, that was a prophecy, dog. This is Dark Phoenix. So first of all, to hedge my bets, I'm being nice to this woman regardless. And second of all, I'm pretty sure she is way out of the league of whoever said that. Like, yo, dude, this is probably the hottest chick you're ever going to talk to, man. Maybe put some respect on her name.
You know, in those movies, there's one thing I have to say. It's not about the shade of Jean Grey's color. there's one, and this isn't even a complaint. It's more like I wish they went into it a little bit more, because every time they tried to do the Phoenix in those movies, not only the content of the character, but I feel like the way it was written, I don't think they've executed it very
But
well.
see, that's a
Oh,
valid
oh no.
criticism, right? That's not nitpicking, dude. Like, it's a fan talking to a fucking lady who has no idea what like nerds are like, right? She's just at a convention meeting the fans, and they're giving her shit because of something that had nothing to do with her. Like, she didn't choose her hair
Yeah.
color. Like, it's a fucking big budget movie. There's like 10 people in a fucking in a boardroom deciding what that hair color is gonna be. Yeah, we nerds, we're gonna fucking shit on this lady. It's like those people that are fucking shitting on like Marvel movies now, and it's just like, yo, dude.
Oh my god.
It's like
It's like,
Robert Downey
dude,
Jr. has nothing to do with any of this shit. Please shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
he's more
Uh,
successful than you'll ever be. Like, I don't understand what the fuck you have a problem with him for, or anything like this.
So I guess sorry, side note with Robert RDJ. Apparently there was a I wouldn't call it a dark time for SNL, because SNL has kind of had ups and downs and within itself all throughout its years. But apparently there was a really bad season, like one year in the 80s, where Robert Downey Jr. was a cast member for that year. And he was the highlight of that year, and it was still bad.
He was the highlight, and it was still bad.
Well, Saturday Night Live, like, I mean, the thing is, you can't go mainstream with something that's edgy. Like, you just can't. What makes it popular is the edginess, and that shit doesn't work in the mainstream. And Saturday Night Live started as like you look at like who was there and when it started, like Andy Kaufman and fucking Rita, what is it, Gilda Radner, like fucking real fucking edgy rebellious comedians. Like they were the Dave Chappelle of their time, you know. But like that was when Saturday Night Live started out, and it was still able to be edgy. Once it went mainstream, it was like, yo, dude, now you look at like Steve Martin and Chevy Chase, and it's like, yeah, they're great, but they're not edgy. Well, Steve Martin's pretty edgy, but Chevy Chase is about as wholesome as it gets, right? And Steve Martin was only edgy in his stand-up. You think of fucking Steve Martin, and it's fucking Big Nose Cyrano or whatever, like. So like, yeah, that's why Saturday Night Live sucks, man. It just got too big for what it was. And it's been that big for a long time. Like their biggest, the fucking biggest, most, longest tenured cast member is fucking Keenan from Nickelodeon. Literally a child's actor.
Yeah.
Like Saturday Night Live is not meant to be funny. Saturday Night Live is meant to not really piss off advertisers.
What do you mean by that? Not piss off advertisers?
Dude, you're not going to see like Saturday Night Live do like edgy shit. You're not going to see Doug Stanhope on Saturday Night Live. You won't see Dave Chappelle. You'll see Hannibal Buress on Saturday Night Live if he's promoting a movie. Like their cast is not going to be the edgy comedians. It's going to be guys like Jimmy Fallon, stuff that like grandmas like won't get mad. Like grandmas will watch that. Oh, Jimmy Fallon, he's such a character. Ah ha ha! Look at he's doing an impression of Donald Trump. Like that's what Saturday Night Live is, man. Like it's not. People are like expecting Saturday Night Live to be In Living Color or Mad TV, and it's like, no, dude, Mad TV and In Living Color were created as responses to like how lame and grandma like Saturday Night Live got, and that was 30 fucking years ago, right? Like, well, Mad TV was in the 2000s, right? So like, yeah, like Saturday Night Live hasn't been entertaining because like I don't think you can do comedy without being just a little bit edgy. You gotta be, dude. There's nobody is laughing when things are like fun. Everybody's smiling, but they're not laughing. There's a difference between laughter and happiness. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily chuckling on the floor when I'm getting a blowjob. I'm smiling, but I'm not laughing, right? There's a difference.
Yeah, I've heard.
Comedy.
One of the things I've heard is, comedy can't be all, glee and happiness, just like you're saying, right? I mean, comedy, some of that stuff comes from dark and embarrassing and, places and stuff. And we make fun of these things. We make light of these things and stuff. It's irony. It comes like laughter is a really complicated response. And, I feel like a lot of comedy has degraded because we can't talk about some of these things that come from those places.
No,
Some
yeah,
of the
'cause
most
you can't
successful
take jokes
comedians
anymore.
do that. Yeah.
I don't agree that you can't talk about those things. I tell whatever jokes I want. There are certain
No,
jokes
it's
that you
like the fact that it won't please like anyone, or people will just go on and on about how you're
You
talking
won't
about that
please
shit.
everyone,
because
though, is the other
Exactly.
thing.
well, it's the mentality of like modern people because they're really fucking stupid. Nobody thinks about
You
tomorrow.
can't have an
Everybody
opinion.
thinks about no, it's not even about that. They don't think about tomorrow. They only think about today. They only think about how can I grow? How can I get more viewers, more subscribers, more bits, more donations? How can I do this and this and this and this? And like that's a bitch ass thing because you'll grow, but those people will never come back, right? So like I'm like fuck growing, dude. Fuck growing. I'm gonna make sure like whatever 5 people that like my shit, and I'm just gonna make sure that those 5 people never go nowhere. And if other people join in over time, they will join in. If I'm good enough to get 5 people to watch me, I'm good enough to get 5,000 people to watch me. There's enough fucking people in this world. So instead of worrying about building my shit up, I worry about maintaining what I got, and I'm just going to be patient enough for the growth to come there. But people don't think like that. They're like, yo, dude, I got to get 10 follows this week. People come in, they fucking ask me all the time, how do I get to 100 followers? And it's like, dude, you fucking fuck 100 followers. Fuck all 100 of those. They're probably bots, dude. They're not even fucking real people. What do you want? You want followers? You could buy that shit. Or do you want real people? Nobody wants real people. Nobody fucking cares about that shit. They're just like, yo, let me get followers, man. Let me get subscribes. Let me get subs. And it's like, dude, fuck that, dude. You
Yeah,
don't
it's
know how
all
to get
everyone.
subs?
Yeah, everyone only thinks about the numbers. It's all about the numbers.
I'm a bit late. What are we talking about?
We talking about bitch asses like fucking Logan Paul.
That's
Oh
Crosby.
yeah, I don't like him.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you
don't
know-
like him at all.
Well, you don't like
Yeah.
anybody.
I don't. I really don't.
I found one
Asvix
time.
doesn't like what?
No, that's ATL, right? ATL doesn't
Yep.
like anybody. And I found one time he did like somebody, and she was like this cute Asian chick that he was talking to. That was the only time. So I think if you want ATL to like you, I think you should start by being a cute Asian chick first.
Unless you're Randy Orton or The Rock or
You would-
Asian. That's all.
You like Randy Orton?
My second favorite wrestler of all time. Yes,
Who's your favorite?
The Rock.
Oh, The Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, it is The Rock. The Rock easy.
Pose Randy Orton? Hears voices in his head?
Yes,
I can
that
respect
Randy
that.
Orton.
Randy Orton's dope, dude. Randy Orton's dope. I respect that. And I also agree that he's not on the level of The Rock. What were we talking about?
Of course,
by the way?
nobody's on the level of The Rock.
The bitch asses that only care about the numbers.
Fuck those guys. They're pussies. Yeah, Logan Paul, you're a pussy.
I mean,
Doesn't
I feel
agree
like
with me.
I'm late in this conversation, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the numbers is more of a confidence thing as opposed to it being the only thing they care about. For example, me being a periodic streamer that streams probably once every 3, 4 to 5 days, I would say that if my numbers were to go up, my confidence of streaming will go up more as well. But I don't really care about the numbers. But if they were to go up naturally, then that's when I would be more opposed to streaming more often. Like,
I think that's why a lot of people don't make it. A lot of people ain't successful. Because you got to be confident before you start streaming. You can't like stream and then be successful and then get confidence from that. That's like that like mentality that people have like for self-esteem. Like you can't just be given self-esteem and then things will work out and now you're successful. It's like you got to be successful first and then that gives you the confidence. So it's like you have to be confident or at least able to fake your confidence enough to get people to like pay attention to your stream for longer than 10 minutes and then you can start growing. I feel like you have that backwards.
no, I'm just speaking on my case, for example. Like, okay, so for sometimes, one time I was streaming and like 6 people that aren't from your community just joined my stream out of nowhere. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I actually turned like what I was planning to be like a 10-minute stream to like a 3-hour stream. I was just kicking it with them. Then those other times, J-Ro always tunes into my streams every time I do streams. So shout out to J-Ro, by the way. But he just tuned in. Next, me and him playing games, and then somebody else tunes in. And then, it's just like, and then it's just us 3. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get off for a second. But once those followers go up, that inspires you, in my opinion, to go for longer than what you really expect to and even come more often because you actually have somewhat of a fan base now. For example, like I have, like 23 followers. And that's pretty good being that I barely ever stream, to be honest. But with that being said, it's like with that being said, it's just like, I'm like, I got a couple people that actually tune in. I have this one dude that tunes in, and he only stays if I'm playing Aaron Black. Like he will leave every single time if I'm not playing Aaron Black. He would say play Aaron, and I'd be like, I'll play him. And if I don't play him next, he's leaving. Like I see that one follower leave every single time. And it's pretty cool, and
Wow.
it builds your confidence to know that you actually have a fan like that. Though.
Yeah, I think it's like as long as you have a couple people that will stick with your streams like for like the whole period while you're streaming, I feel like that alone is good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like
you gotta be more. You gotta be more confident before then, man. Like you can't. I don't know. Like that was when I knew that like I should probably pursue this. Is like my buddy who like I didn't even watch streams really. Like I'd watch tournaments and I'd watch Eris. And it was because Eris is my fucking homie. Like, it was just like, oh, I wonder what Eris is up to today. Oh, he's eating Doritos and playing Resident Evil. Awesome. Good for him. It's cool that he makes money doing this, right? But I didn't really watch, like, streamers. And so when I started streaming, my buddy who, like, does, like, he has a permanent sub to I think Tim the Tatman or something like that, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't have that sub anymore. But, like, like, he actually watched, like, streamers, and he's like, dude, like, it's crazy. Like, you stream as if you had 500 viewers. Like, the way you talk and interact is, like, the way that the big guys do it. He's like, you don't stream like other people. Like, maybe you should do this more. And I was like, all right, man, well, like, I guess I'm just naturally good at this. And then when I started, like, looking at it, and I was like, you know what, man? Like, in order to make it's not that I, like, saw those top-level streamers and said, I'm going to emulate what they do. It was just that's, like, how I am innately. Like, I just talk a lot of shit. Like, thank God I found a way to fucking make money off of it because it's only gotten me in trouble for most of my life. But it's like, I feel like, dude, if you're not already that kind of person, then you are going to limit, like, the amount of success that you can have in, like, any kind of, like, entertainment field.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see where you're coming from with that. I feel like with you specifically, though, it's like people tune in because you do things different. Like, people in the community are usually shy away from what people call quote.
I don't know. You were breaking.
I'm a
up
big
there.
shit
Say
talk.
that again. Oh, you still breaking up. Anyways. Yeah, he's a big shit talker. I don't know, man. I just think that, like, it's not for everybody, and I get criticized for, like, kind of discouraging people to do this, and it's only because, like, yo, man, like, now that I've been, like, streaming and making YouTube videos and creating content, like, I absolutely see that this is not for everybody. It's not even, like, me, like, telling people, like, oh, you're shitting on their dreams, and I'm like, no, trust me, dude, like, it's not that I'm shitting on your dreams. Go ahead, turn on the camera, go stream. Like, I'm telling you, it's not for you. Before you spend $1,000 on a fucking nice-ass camera, okay, go stream for a couple hours to 0 viewers with a shitty camera, and then tell me if that's for you. Because, like, I just did what I did, like, what I would normally do. Like, and I just did it. I had a camera in front of me, and if that's not how you normally are, like, it's going to be a struggle. And no amount of growth or, like, metrics, like reading numbers and following YouTube rules, like, no amount of that is going to make you a success at, like, any of this shit. So, like, might as well stop being a clout chasing bitch, right? At least that's how I think about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like, if you don't already have, like, the innate, like, hidden talent, and you're not willing to, like, really bust ass to cultivate it, because I feel like being a loudmouth is not really something that you can't overcome. Like, people are like, oh, I could never do that because I'm, like, super shy. And I'm like, dude, I know tons of, like, YouTubers and streamers that are really fucking shy. Like really, really fucking shy. And they're way more successful than me. Like, it's not about being shy. It's just about, like, can you separate, like, your ability to entertain from your ability to not entertain? Like, you don't, when you're like if you work in an assembly line and you're putting together mops, like, you don't think about putting together mops. You just fucking put the fucking squeezy side on the stick and you fucking tie it down and you're done. You just do it. And if you can't look at, like, entertainment in that respect, like, yo, dude, I just tell the fucking joke, right? I don't think about it. I don't think because I don't have time to think, because I need 5 more jokes to fill the next 8 minutes. So just tell the fucking joke. It lands or it doesn't. And if you can't separate yourself with that, like that, then it's just not for you. Like, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to sit there and say, yo, dude, I don't want to do this today, but I gotta, because otherwise I don't get to eat, and then be able to do it at a well enough level that people will still pay you, because you can phone it in and have a shitty stream, but how many subs do you get that day? You know, like, can you give a good stream when you are a shitty person? And a lot of people can't do that, man, and it's pretty tough. It's like mentally and emotionally exhausting to do shit like that, and that's why I tell people, yo, dude, don't do it. Because, like, if you don't already just innately not give a shit, okay, you're asking me for advice. That means you give a shit. That means it's not for you, because I never asked anybody for, like, a whole lot of advice. I just fucking
You
went
just
and
do it.
researched myself and then did it myself. Now my green screen is moving around. Oh, there goes the green screen. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
You done
Remember
messed
when-
up, AA Ron.
Remember when this conversation was going to be about clickbait?
Yeah, it never ends up being that conversation. Spoiler for anyone.
We've been going on for over an hour, and we haven't even mentioned the subject that we came up with.
I mean, honestly, it's we're talking Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
We're talking community here.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
honestly,
good enough.
yeah. I mean, we had J Ro chime in. We have Crosby chiming in, especially with the podcast stuff. I feel like that's relevant. We're talking
yeah.
about. I mean, everything kind of centers around Mortal Kombat. We've definitely come back to either NetherRealm or Mortal Kombat Injustice or the next game. So I
Or
mean,
the
it's still.
community.
Yeah, exactly. It's still relevant to what we're doing right now, like what
Yeah,
everyone's
definitely.
doing right now. But yeah.
AC knocked
So
over the green screen. I'm not complaining because I still have AC, so I'm kind of happy about that.
How hot is it down there right now, or is it even hot?
Oh, I don't know. It's not hot yet, but it's starting to get there. It's pretty.
It's
nasty
nice out
outside.
for me.
Yeah, it's a little cool. It's a little bit of a breeze. The El Nino, right? Isn't that the summer wind or the fall
Yeah.
wind, right? I don't know, man. It's not that bad, but the AC
El
knocked over my
Nino?
fucking green screen. Oh man, shit. Anyways, we're at
But-
like an hour and 15 minutes. I mean, any closing thoughts? What did we cover today? We covered a lot of shit, right? You were just talking about what we covered, but what were we just talking about?
Well, like what me and Toad were talking about, or what all three of us were talking about?
Well, what were you and Toad just talking about? Because I was fixing my green screen.
Oh, we were talking about how, like,
So professional.
what we're talking about still is, like, relevant to everything. Like, even if we don't talk about the subject that we come up with, everything still boils down to, like, Mortal Kombat, NetherRealm, or the community in general.
Honestly, man, like, I don't care. Like, what we talk about, I keep it on
Yeah.
brand with, like, MK. But, like, I brought back the podcast because people kept saying, like, bring back the podcast. Like, I don't care if you don't talk about MK. Like, just bring back the podcast because that shit used to get pretty funny. And I'm like, all right, man, I'll just bring back the podcast. Like,
Yeah,
let's just
these
do
are
it.
fun.
So,
I like
like,
these.
Oh, like, we could talk. We don't have to. It's not focused. Like, I'm focused on MK because, like, that's kind of what most of my content is. But I've come to the conclusion that most of the people that listen to this podcast don't really give a shit that I talk about MK or not. They just want to hear jokes and get stoned and have something to listen to on the way to work.
You know, something
Hey,
I
that
was
works.
wondering. Yeah. Something I was wondering that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. How'd you meet Mrs. Badger?
Drunk at a bar the way the good Lord intended. I'm serious, man. Like, I got really fucking sloshed. She fucking held her drinks like a champ. So, like, yeah.
Wow.
Like, I got fucking hammered, but I had just left a fucking fighting game tournament that I went 0-2 at, so I was in a foul mood and I got fucking drunk.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
like, it's like, so I was actually supposed to meet someone else there. I was actually being set up on a blind date the night I met Mrs. Badger.
Really?
Yeah, so, like, my buddies, we would all go to a bar and hang out as a karaoke bar, and we get fucked up and sing karaoke. But on that night, I go to fighting game tournaments, right? And it's like my non-fighting game friends, not fans. I keep saying that shit. The only friends I have now are the fans. but like it's my non-fighting game friends. And so like, you know, they go to the bar and they're like, hey, after the tournament, come out. And I was like, all right, man, but like these tournaments go late, so I may not even make it. And he's like, oh, well, there was this girl that he was trying to hook me up with. He's like, dude, like the girl I'm trying to introduce you to, she's going to be here tonight. That's why I kind of want you to be here. And I was like, all right, man, you know what? If I go 0-2, like I'll roll up right away instead. Because like usually I'll just chill at the tournament, get fucking hang out with all the guys, you know? Hang out with the fighting game people. I was like, all right, man, well, like if I go 0-2, I'll leave right away. But like if I'm winning this tournament, I'm winning this tournament. And like, yeah, this is what's happening. Now, again, I walked in confident, but I was not winning that tournament.
Because you said you went 0-2, and that must have
It
sucked.
was a Tekken tournament, the SoCal Tekken scene. You're talking about like MYK, Eris, Rip, Just Frame James, like literally like half of top 8 Evo every year for Tekken. You know, like literally the best in the world. Like knee travels to those fucking tournaments. So like, yeah, I was gonna go 0-2. I was absolutely going 0-2. But I was like, yo, if I believe in myself, in my believe. And actually, like, I think I fought Just Frame James, and I got, like, 1 win on him on stream, and it was pretty hype. So, like, yeah, you know what? Like, I was going to go 0-2, but, like, you know, I believed in myself. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I'll go to this tournament afterwards, or I'll go to this bar after the tournament. You know, if you guys are still there, then you guys are still there, whatever. It's awesome. All right, so I show up, and, like, lo and behold, I go 0-2, and I'm, like, in a foul mood. Because, like, I almost beat Just Frame James. So close. I was salty as fuck. I'm like, man, I got to go to this bar and, like, pretend that I'm not a fucking pissed off motherfucker to, like, this girl. Like, she better be fucking hot, man. She better be real fucking hot. And I get there, and my boy's like, oh, yeah, she's not here yet. She's not here yet. She's not here yet. Bitch never actually, at the end of the day, never even showed up, right? But while I was there, I saw who would eventually be Mrs. Badger. And while I'm waiting for this other girl who ends up not even showing up, I was like, dude, what's up with her? And he was like, that's so-and-so. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to go talk to her. And then I went to go talk to her. And then, like, we had a date scheduled for that weekend. Like, I literally said, hey, Saturday, what do you want to eat? She's like, I like sushi. And I was like, okay, then it's on. I'll see you Saturday. We should probably exchange numbers.
There you go.
That's it. That's it. You just went up.
That was it. I just said, Saturday,
that's all it takes.
what do you want to eat Saturday? And she said sushi. And I was like, okay. So, like, we should
Deal.
exchange numbers. I'll go get you some sushi on Saturday and we'll eat. And, like, and I remember people, like, because she, you know, she do modeling and shit, like, for photography friends and shit. Like, she's hot. And so people were like, how did you fucking get a girl like that? And, like, they ask her. And, you know, her answer literally is, he is the first guy that ever asked me out on an actual date. Like, that's literally all it took. I was the first guy to ever actually ask her out on a date, because every other guy tried to be her friend first. They were never upfront like, hey, let's go on a date. It was always like, let me be your friend. Let me be a simp. Let me buy you this shit. And she's like, yeah, people are going to buy me stuff. I'm going to let them. Like, I'm not stupid. You know, if somebody's like, man, oh, you haven't played the new Zelda? Let me buy that for you. And then they get mad that she's not fucking them.
Deal.
And it's
there
like,
you go.
She's like, none of them ever asked me on a date. They just assumed that I would ask them if they eventually bought me enough shit or if they were nice to me.
Oh my gosh.
And
people
so
are dumb if they actually think that works.
But that's, dude, like, she was like 20 when I met her, okay? 20 years of that shit. Like, dude, that's how it is. And I'm telling you, like, 9 times out of 10, just go up to the fucking baddest female in the room. If you're at a bar or you're anywhere, like, go up to the baddest female and just be like, hey, how's it going? You're attractive. Let me get you something to eat. You don't even have to sit next to me. We just got to be in the same building. And give me the next hour and a half to, like, sell you on hanging out with me. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah, the reason I'm actually not free today is because I actually got a date.
Ooh, this guy about to go get laid. I'm gonna want details, man. I'm gonna want details.
I want details.
I'm gonna get details.
Okay, now,
man.
They grow up so fast.
They grow
They
up
grow
so
up
fast.
so fast.
Don't fuck it up, dude. I mean, like, I could give you tips for days on, like, how to fucking make a first date, like, excellent. And it's not even hard. Like, the dumber you are,
Make
the easier
conversation.
it is. You didn't even do that.
The dumber you
You
are.
don't have to-
No,
the dumber you are, the easier it is. That's why all the idiot Chad motherfuckers are getting all the laid.
Well, all right, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, we're
Make
gonna
conversation, bro.
we're gonna cut the podcast here. That's not really on topic for what we're doing. I'll give you some tips afterwards. Go ahead and give some shout outs and goodbyes.
All right, my name's Asvix. That's my PSN right there, and I don't really have any socials besides Instagram. That's b.m.r_15. I'll probably be here every other stream if well, actually probably not on the weekends. I mean the weekdays because of school, but you can catch me here on the weekends more than likely.
And this is the one and only Toad Savage. If you want to follow me on Twitch, you can catch me on the Trash Talk Temple podcast. Try to get some videos up soon for you guys if you want to watch me. Peace.
Buff Aaron, I ain't really got shit else to say. If you want to follow me, follow me. I don't give a fuck. Buff Aaron and fuck Cetrion. Size off the nerd. J-Roll laggy as fuck. And Bad Droids got excuses for lag. Boom. That's it.
There we go. Like, comment, and subscribe. And for more of the podcast.